Girl,
Yes.
girl.
Yeah.
Crazy week. I don't think I've had that many adrenaline rushes ever in my entire life.
Time to process what the fuck actually happened.
For real. Like it, it it started with Jethro, and I can't say enough about that man. I would go to war with that man if there was, a roadhouse bar fight somewhere. I'd be right there. I'd be like, "What do you need from me? I'm in it. Let's
We
go."
riding at dawn. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
really I can't thank him enough, and, you probably seen it before. Got to meet Hiller last Saturday, um, and then it was just all week was, like, streamline worth of things,
Mhm.
and stuff that these men didn't have to do,
Yeah.
right? And it
Yep.
was so cool. Let me just hold on. This one, my kid is gonna have this forever, you know what I mean? He is
Mm.
yeah. He's "Hey, Rosie View, what's up?
What's
Jeffrey
up?
number 1."
What's going on, guys? Thanks for hanging out with us
Yeah.
early.
Yeah, it's super early. But yeah, he's gonna have this forever, you know what I mean? He's always gonna be able to see himself just in this amazing space with these amazing people,
Missing
ha
a tooth.
missing
Look
a
how
tooth,
cute. How cute he is missing a tooth.
and Hiller didn't have to do that, and Hiller didn't have to let him hold the camera, he didn't have to let me hold the camera, he didn't have to put him in the video
He didn't have to put us in the video
at
at
all.
all.
You
And we were watching it just obviously as a support for Jet and
Of
Cheap
course.
Nation. And all of a sudden it was like, whoa, hold on a second. He's walking towards you. You see me, you see the baby. He put our Glitten Things podcast handle on it so people could find us. And then he put this part where he got to meet our kid and talk to our kid, and he didn't have to do that. And
No.
it's completely just coming from the kindness of who he is. And it's that living in gratitude. And it's just gratitude. It's just
I
so
couldn't
cool.
even be more appreciative, like, seeing my kid like this is just, I can't thank him enough, and I can't say thank you enough,
Yeah.
and, little G will always have this.
Hmm.
He's always gonna have this.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh
we always say that, um, sorry, Crowbar was really funny. Sorry, I have to say it. Jeffrey number 1 was like, "What's up, Crowbar?" Just wrenching around.
It's
Sorry, I got distracted. Um, yeah, shit. Fuck,
yeah.
I forgot where I was
No,
going.
but yeah, if Jet ever called me, I'm there, bro.
Yep.
Like, always, I'm there for life. Let's go.
Oh, this is what I was gonna say. We always say that, interaction with us and with the way that, for me, the way that someone interacts with you tells a lot to me of the type of person that they are.
Yeah.
I always say, like, I'm cool. It it depends on how you interact with my wife and my kid. And Bede has just been
Yeah.
around Jet a couple times, and the way that Jet takes his time to interact with him, to talk with him, to show him things, to go out of his way to make him feel seen and heard, means a lot. And then Alexis and Hiller did the same thing.
Yeah, if people don't know, literally the baby just laid in Alexis's lap and chilled out for a while. And
Yeah.
I was scared. I was like, "Oh my god, let me go run over there and get him."
Mhm.
And she was just like, "He's fine."
Yeah.
All
But that is telling of the type of person that they are, the
yeah,
type of people that they are. And for us, like, when people are good to our kid, that says a lot about who they are. And they both were just amazing. And they didn't have to do that.
they
It
didn't.
literally could have been like a hey, nice to meet you from afar. It could have been a hey, nice to meet you, handshake, fist bump, or whatever, and then dip out. And he was there to be with Jet. He was
Yeah.
invited by Jet. And Jet obviously shared with us and was like, hey, come if you can. And we did. But it goes back to that whole thing. And you and I have been talking about this a lot this entire week with everything that's been going on. It's living in gratitude and not expectation.
Yeah.
We didn't know who it was until we got there. And then when we got there and we saw who it was, we still were not in a space of expectation.
Yeah, we're like, hey, he's gonna talk to us the whole time.
Right. No, it literally was like, oh my God, even if he didn't come over, like it's cool.
Oh,
Even if he didn't say hi, it's
hey,
cool.
hey, Jake, hey, Judy, what's up, guys? Rosie, you can come out here anytime,
Anytime.
anytime
We've
you
been
want.
talking about we need
Yeah,
updated
family photos,
family photos because the last ones you guys can't see them, but the last family photos we got all together was when I was pregnant.
pretty much.
And he's gonna be 7, but that's a different conversation for a different day. We won't talk about that right now. But with just this entire week has just been living in gratitude and not expectation. It's
And
been
then
really cool.
So if you want to hear about how somebody asked me in the comments of the YouTube video how I got Sevon on my show. I have no freaking idea. I really don't. I asked him to get out of my comfort zone, I think, and kind of with that thought in the back of my head, you know, he's gonna say no. It's all good. You won't have to. You know what I mean? I felt like there was a safeguard where I wouldn't have to be out of my comfort zone, but I can say like I asked, like
Yeah.
I asked him for it. It's cool. I get it. He's a busy ass man. He doesn't have to do anything. And then, by the way, you killed. Thank you, Jeffrey. Number 1.
Yes.
You the best.
You did great. I mean, go ahead, finish, and then we'll praise you all day because you did great.
But I did want to step outside my comfort zone. I do consider him a friend of mine. I've talked to him for over a year, probably closer to 2 years now. We've talked about some ridiculous stuff. So I let's see what happens. And he said yes, and then I died 57 times and then when he actually set a date for it, then I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, here we go.
Yep.
Let's go. I gotta buck up, gotta get this done. This dude's my friend. I talk to him. It's cool. I can talk to my buddy. It's all good.
Yeah.
And it was that way. And he texted me the morning before we went on. I think it was probably before he went, because he went on like 8 shows that day. But he texted me before he went on his own live show. And, just kind of, hey girl, whatever you want to do, whatever, I'm good. Just if I have to squirm, I'm going to squirm. And I was like, well, I'm going to fangirl a little bit and then I'm going to make you squirm. And then we both laughed and it was funny. And it was, it was a good time. And he doesn't have to do anything like that either. Judy Reed, I love when y'all called him live that time to test your phone. And that's the kind of dude he is.
Yep.
He really is that dude. If he can answer the phone, he'll answer the phone. And if he can't answer the phone, he won't answer the phone. But yeah, that was freaking funny.
Yeah. If he can help, he will.
Rosie View, I would have been sweating. I was.
She was.
If
she was.
If you look at the beginning of the video, you can see my lips start to quiver a little bit because my entire body is just frozen in one, like, I don't even know what. I was like, it's okay. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And so there was a couple of comments that I wanted to answer. One of them was,
wow, Crowbar.
Wow.
Watch your mouth.
Too much Crowbar.
Watch your mouth. Nobody likes that word.
We're gonna end up having to wrench you.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wrench you and take your wrenching privileges away.
So, he settled me down. It was super cool. I was ready to go after that. And, again, he didn't have to do that. That wasn't a thing he had to do. He didn't have to come on. He said multiple times he doesn't like going on other people's shows. And so it was really cool of him to do that and for them to push that video for me. I mean, honestly, I said to him, yo, I'll never have to do another podcast again for 4 years because this one podcast
we made it.
like equals everything we've done up until this point at times like 4.
So thanks, guys. It's been fun. But we're good. I'm kidding.
But yeah, some of the comments I wanted to address was one of the comments, the person really wanted to hear about like Sevon's life. And I mean, I feel like I've heard a lot about his life during his own podcasts. If you kind of have watched him for a long period of time, there's a good amount of his life out there.
Right.
And also I don't feel like I'm qualified enough to interview him about his life. You know what I mean? He's done so many things and gone so many places, and I feel like that's a Joe Rogan podcast, right? Like someone should go on Joe Rogan and just tell his entire life story, and it should be its own documentary. Like I'm
Well, I
not.
do think that maybe he should write a book,
Yeah,
or he
that would be
should,
cool.
if like, yeah, he should write a book or maybe a documentary, maybe someone do a behind the scenes of Sevan and behind the scenes of the behind the scenes. Like, I think that would be pretty cool to kind of see him in a different light.
I also got the vibe, and it wasn't just from there were a couple of comments in my DMs and also on the actual podcast that it just felt like there was a vibe that Sevan came on. He really wanted to talk about some stuff. He wanted to get some stuff off his chest, and he did.
Mhm.
And it was a great conversation, I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah.
And he was able to talk about what it was that he wanted
Needed to talk
to
about, yeah.
get out. And it was cool. And I was happy to be able to be a vehicle for that. That was super cool for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was nervous and sweating as crap,
But I also, and we've talked about this since the podcast and whatever, he is coming into a place that he's not used to. He is used to being the host of every show that he is on. He is used to being the one that has to run it. Where is it going? Where's the conversation going? We joke that
did you see us jostling trying to read a comment?
Yes.
It was really, I was like, dude, just go ahead. It's your show.
Cool.
It's fine.
It's cool.
I defer to you, my man.
But the
like,
thing
it's all good.
is that you want him to be as authentic as possible.
Yeah, and as comfortable as possible.
And that's just somebody that he is, and that's the way that he is. He's so used to being able to just, like I said, pull up the comments when he wants, say what he wants, change the topic if he wants, stay on a topic if he wants it, whatever. And I think that it was really cool for him to be there in a new space. And also you were able to, I don't want to say challenge, because
you challenged him. Well, you're the one that got him to stop for a second. He was like, yo.
but just what my point being is being able to start the conversation and ask him questions and get him to stop talking for a second and then allow you to ask the questions. And that takes time for both of you. And I do think that you are very qualified to have been able to ask him more questions. I also think that you respect him enough to read kind of where you thought he needed to go and what he needed to say, kind of like what you were saying, where like you just kind of got that vibe that maybe this was a space that he needed to talk about this. And that's also cool. But I think you did a really, really good job.
It was really funny. He on his 4-hour long podcast yesterday, or 420. Let me not take away minutes from them, because
right.
They did 420.
Yeah.
That was big deals.
Yeah.
He even said, he was like, yo, I watched one of her videos from like 6 months ago, and basically he got red faced, but he was basically saying I was trash, which is fine, because I was absolutely trash. I was probably trash like 3 months ago too, but sometimes I don't think people understand how difficult this is. Like, the talking to people, because I talk to people in the deli all the time, nonstop. I can read a room, I can move through a room. It's fine. I've been dealing with the public my entire life. Colleen, 100% Colleen. She read the room. Not all people can do that. Yeah, it's not easy on the podcast. It's when you get in front of this mic and in front of this camera, I don't know why it's so different than just moving through a room of people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very good at I'm out.
It's a game of, and I know that this is also really funny, that chess is the game of choice, I guess you could say, because Hillard did that in his video. Our son is obsessed with the game chess. Yeah. And then I just decided, like, what came to my head was that it's a game of chess. How much do you allow the other person to move? How much do you say? Where do you go? That kind of stuff. And I think that you get used to that over time. You and I do podcasts together all the time. Yes, we are married too. So our communication is very good. I know when I need to step in and say something. When you need to let me just talk, and vice versa. Like, we know how to do that. And that is a new space for him to be able to trust that someone else is going to do that. Because normally he's the one that's in charge. Yeah. That's in charge of the chess game. His moves are first. So
Jeffrey number 1, Now you are getting much better at organizing your questioning and dealing with the chat. Doing it live is very hard. And it really is. I don't think
Mhm.
people get that enough to you get lost in the chat
Yep.
and then you don't hear what the person's saying.
Yep.
And then you can't respond
Mhm.
because you're lost now.
Uh-huh.
But you don't want to look dumb by not knowing what the person said. So it's
And you also, when you're, and Jeffrey says too, doing it live is a much richer experience. It is. And you also have to decide how much of the chat deserves time and also how much does the person deserve time. And that's why yesterday or Saturday when we did this, I was like, you worry about him, don't worry about the chat. If there's something from the chat that you feel will bring value, and we brought up a couple questions, we brought up a couple comments or
listen, I
whatever.
got lost in the chat once and I was like, hey, I can't get lost in the chat again. Heidi Groom. Listen, I apologize for Crowbar Jones. He was I'm just gonna blame it all on him. I apologize for that. Uh he's about to be wrenched in a minute for his ridiculous comment. So my fault, my bad. Sorry, girl. You're not gonna get wrenched. um but yeah, you get lost in I got lost in the chat for a minute that day and was just like, no, you can't. No, you can't look. I can't look at the chat.
Mhm.
Like I have to trust you to be able to look at the chat. I have to trust, Jeffrey number 2 to look at the chat. I can't do it because I'm not there yet where I can just roll through the chat and listen and then be able to respond.
And also too,
Love you too, Heidi.
yeah.
Eh,
Jeffrey number 1, laying it out. Also too, if you really look at the chat, 90% of the time, they're talking to each other. They're
yeah.
not even talking about the conversation that's going on the podcast. I mean, sometimes they are, but you have to look and see what they're saying because they like to just talk to each other.
I,
I want to name my next grandchild Crowbar. All
oh,
right, Beast.
hold
All
on.
right, Beast.
Chris Beast. Listen, buddy, somebody click it. I can't click it. See, this is what happens when you go into the chat. But I need attention. You sent me the Instagram to your youngest daughter this morning. That girl is
Boss.
savage.
Boss.
She is freaking savage. I didn't know if I could bring up her Instagram on our show. I was gonna ask you at a later date because that girl is fire.
Boss.
Holy
Yep.
crap, dude.
Boss.
Congrats.
Mm-hmm.
I mean to all your children, but her weightlifting, her Olympic lifting is fire. So,
Yep.
but yeah, it's a different kind of thing, which is why when I saw uh CF Media, Jason, and I love that dude, I really do. And he doesn't go live a lot, and he's going live, and
Yeah, but we felt that way
oh
when
yeah,
we started to go live first. We used to pre-record everything. It was just easier. It was a good place to start. But then you saw from you watching Sevon go live and other people go live that the experience is just different. So for you, it was like, okay, well, we're just gonna jump.
yeah.
Let's just jump. And it was very uncomfortable for the first.
And you can, because you don't know, you're not comfortable with what to say or what not to say. And again, I think it's what Stevan was talking about when it comes to politics.
Yeah.
Right? You don't if you're not comfortable in what you actually believe and what your values are and what your morals are, then you're afraid to talk.
Yeah.
So
I was like that for
I
for
was.
certain topics.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll go on with you, but I'm not gonna say much. You
Yeah.
know, there's certain topics that for a while, I mean, still, there's still certain topics that we keep privately between the two of us and, whatever. But there's other topics where I was not comfortable saying anything. And I was like, I'll come sit with you and I'll come say a little bit here, a little bit there, but I'm not going to be very vocal on certain topics until I was ready. It's almost like, what Savon said. It was like, I think it was along the principle of like, it didn't bother him until
It bothered
until
him.
it bothered him. And then when it bothered him or when he was over, I forget which part of the podcast it was, but it was like, it wasn't a thing until it was a thing. And we're all human and we're all like that. We can, you know, choose to not say something. We can choose to push things down. We can choose to keep it moving, but eventually like that shit's going to come up. Like,
Yeah.
so, but you did great.
It was
And
fun.
I think you're not giving yourself enough credit for how far you've come and how you were able to navigate. He is also a very big personality. He also has a lot of fans. He also has a lot of support. So to be able to navigate a big personality like that, You did really, really good.
I mean, because I've talked to him for so long, like,
Mhm.
yes, it was like, oh my God, it's Sevon.
Yeah.
Like, oh my
Yep.
God,
Yeah.
what do I, wow. But
Mhm.
also, too, having talked to him for so long and shared so many things with him, and, the texts that he sent me that morning beforehand, it was like, okay, dude, like, you're going to fangirl out. He loves you, Chris Biesterfield.
Mhm.
It's again, it's all things that the personas that they have in the media, it it's not that it's unfair, unwarranted. Yeah, they whatever, but also too, like, people can be a big personality and also be a really good dude behind the paywall.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's I talk to Jenna a lot, and she always says that she has to be that boisterous and that whatever to get her point across.
Yep.
Like, we're living in times where it's very hard to get your point across unless you're yelling. And
Or
not that
you're clear.
yeah, on
And
what
you're
you
just
and
clear
draw the
to the
line.
point
Yeah.
where it's like
I do, you're the meme god. I've called you a god. Like, what? I can't get very much higher than that.
Mm-mm. See, look, someone got us. We're a little blushy. There you go. Your blushy cheeks.
Oh, someone said that who was it? Was it Ken Walters said it at the end of the last podcast we did?
Yeah.
Was Garrett's getting blushy? I always do. I can't do anything to
No, I laugh and my cheeks are just super red. Like, it's
I
cool.
can't do it. I don't know what it is. I have to go out and it needs to be summertime so I can go get some of my melanin back, because wintertime I'm just white as hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, to show them that way. So two things can be true, right?
Mhm.
You can just be having fun and running around and being dumb and not dumb, but just being boisterous and loud and whatever. And you can also be just a really good dude that gives a shit.
Yep.
And both of them are. And
Yeah.
it was really cool. And they didn't butt cheeks. Thanks, Jan Clark.
Mm.
But they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to push the video. They didn't have to, you know what I mean? And
Yeah, and those are all choices that are made. And I think that again goes back to just this sentiment that you and I have just been talking about this entire week, between again meeting Hiller and Jet and everything that happened at Chief Nation, and then everything that happened following that, being on a video, him using the video that I took, the live video, and then the video that you took on his
his actual
camera.
camera,
So
yeah.
like he was talking about us there, mostly talking about you there. And then all of a sudden Sevon said yes. And then it was like, let's do Saturday. And like, so this entire week has just been a
Yeah.
lot. Like, holy crap, it's been a lot. But the sentiment that we have been talking about this entire week is living in gratitude and not expectation. And I think what happens, especially in really big spaces like this, is that the expectations for other people are so high. And if you just are able to live in a sense of gratitude, you actually go much farther. You actually can see more. There, again, there was no expectation from Jet ever.
Yeah.
We went there once with Jody, and
Had
it
a
was
great time.
amazing we met him, we said hello and whatever. There was no expectation after that. But here he is jumping on here, supporting us, all the type of things. This amazing event happens and he chooses to invite us and reach out to us and say, "Hey, listen, you're gonna really want to make this
He
trip."
didn't expect anything from us either.
Exactly.
Like,
There's no expectation that can't be reached
right.
too.
But now it's like, how can I help you?
Mhm.
What can I do for you?
Yep.
Can I tag you and stuff? Can I put you on stuff? And it just
Mhm.
it really is the way they talk about how organic it is that it happens.
Yep.
If
If you allow it to be.
yeah,
When you try to force something,
it doesn't go.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was a crazy week. It was a good week. It was,
It was a
nothing I expected.
crazy
Again,
no.
talking about expectation, didn't expect any of that. Didn't even expect him to say yes.
Yes.
Like, I think I threw the question in a text message to him as
Mhm.
something funny at the end. I think I made it a joke.
Mhm.
And he just responded and all of a sudden we're scheduling something.
Yep.
I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh crap. Now now I got to get ready. What are we
Mhm.
doing? I got to watch all the podcasts. I mean, I always do anyway, but I just had to
Yeah.
watch them faster.
Yep.
So it was cool. And again, these dudes don't have to do this.
Hiller shared
Everything.
the podcast that you did with Sevon twice in his stories. Twice. And most of the comments that we got from the podcast, underneath the podcast, literally starts with Hiller sent us.
Yeah.
Now I'm here.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And that's really that's the next one, Jan.
Dude,
That's the next one.
I don't even I can't even pull up your comment. Why can't I pull up comments? What is happening? Did you guys put me on wrench? Like
maybe,
what's happening?
maybe you're not
Jan,
on-
did you shut me out of my own podcast? What is happening right now? Maybe Birchfield muted me. Oh no, he doesn't have his wrench. Or he does. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that would be super cool. Again, that would be a thing, you know, to figure this world out, this podcast world out is.
Yep, Jan blocked you.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Jan. I appreciate you. I'm not good at it anyway. I'm horrible at the chat. But yeah, it would be cool. There was a comment in there, I think, from Jonathan Ortega, and he was like, Tyler Watkins is such a good dude and whatever. I would love to talk to Tyler Watkins. That one's the one where I would love to know what his journey was to where he is now.
Yeah.
I would love to know that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just, again, it was a whirlwind week. I can't.
And you'll get there next time that Sevon comes on, because he's in some way, I think he's already promised a number 2 because fans are asking for it. So
well, one comment asked for it. Let's not get crazy about that. But
you'll get more comfortable to be able to ask him questions. And I told you I have questions too, you know, and I'll ask questions next time. So
there are some listen, oh, look at y'all. Wrenches can't place each other in timeout. Only block. Damn.
Jeffrey number 1 coming in hot today.
I know. He's on fire. Maybe we need to go on earlier from now on. But yeah, asking them to come on, like even John Woolley, asking John Woolley to come on, asking, you know, Athena to come on, asking Sevon to come on, like it's all stuff outside of your comfort zone that the worst thing that they could say is no. But these guys just don't do that.
Yeah.
As much as I kind of mess with the CrossFit space sometimes, the CrossFit space really is the original core CrossFit space group.
Yeah.
They're all out to help each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It really is. And I've messed with the CrossFit space and said there's a weird culture happening now and whatnot. And there is a little bit, but the more,
but I think publicly there almost has to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that is where we go back to saying that what people choose to share online is a very small part of who they really are.
Yeah.
We make the choice on what we choose to share, and not everybody else is sharing, you know, their like true self to that extent. You know what I mean? But like, there's also people that have created a persona. Hiller has a persona. That's literally what he has created for himself, and he loves it, and he doesn't defend it. Please don't defend him. He doesn't deny it. This is who he is. This is what he will always share.
Yeah.
And it's not going to change. You know what I mean? So, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that is the type of person he is off screen, because they're not the same. Like they are, but they're not. You know what I mean? And everybody's just been super, super nice. So
it's kind of funny because I've been geeking out on CrossFit media space. Like, I don't want to be CrossFit media. I want to talk to the CrossFit media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That to me is the most interesting, like how they run around, how they film stuff, how they
navigate.
Yeah.
How do you navigate life?
Right.
How do you navigate this life where you have put yourself in this position and this is what you love to do and this is your job and you're passionate about it and whatever, and then how do you deal with life, partners, kids, fun? Like, how do you
John, shut up. You're not a bad guest. We love you.
No, you were feisty last time too.
I like salty John and I like salty Jeffrey Birchfield too.
Yes.
Good job. Oh, wait, should I say pause? Pause. No
Pause.
homo. Something. I know there's something I'm supposed to say after that because I said salty. So pause. But yeah,
thank you, Crowbar. You got your back.
thank you. But yeah, it to me that's more interesting than anything else. I think I just like the sociology of it all. And
I think it goes also back to, and I think you might have said it, or he might have said it. But the top 10 elite have so much media coverage.
yeah.
And it's not that I don't want to know. I'm a huge Patrick Vellner fan. Like I'm not saying I don't want to know what he's doing, but everybody knows what he's doing and everybody's having the same conversation. Everybody is having.
Ooh, Seema, let's see, I didn't get to answer you a lot last time. I think that's why it's hard to reconcile the personal Hiller with YouTube Hiller. What's the end goal with making that Brian video? The logic doesn't make sense to me. I My answer would only be speculation. I really don't know, but from what I got out of the conversation that I had on Saturday was just it's been a long history of them trying
Mhm.
to help him
Mhm.
and them feeling like Brian dismisses it in a way or doesn't realize that they're trying to help or doesn't I don't know.
Mhm.
Other than, some people you get mad. I think it's just that Hillary's doing it publicly, whereas in your own life, right? If you weren't kind of a famous person or a YouTube famous person or a Instagram famous person, and you had a friend like that, or you you would handle it the same way. It's just not public. You kind of be like, dude, stop telling my girlfriend some shit that I told you in confidence and whatever. Like, you know what I mean? That's to me kind of what it sounds like.
Mhm.
I might be saying it poorly, but that to me is kind of what it sounds like. But their world is so big with so many people in it and so many private conversations,
Mhm.
then maybe it hurts a little more. Cause
I also think that if you
I don't know.
did I also think that if you did watch, I only saw part of it. I didn't see all of it of the CF Jason CF Media. Is that what the one that
Yeah,
is?
that's a podcast he went on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that he went on or whatever. It also sounded like he wanted to talk about it and he wanted to share it from his perspective. And so when you have, what's that saying? Your truth, my truth, and the actual truth is somewhere in the middle. So it seemed like that Brian wanted to talk about it. And so he shared his truth. He kind of opened up the door. And so now it's like, well, Hiller's like, okay, you opened the door. Well, now I'm going to share my side, and again, the delivery might be different, but it seemed like, to kind of echo what you were saying, baby, is that it just seemed like there was a lot of times where it was like, don't speak publicly about this. Let's just deal with this privately. But then Brian chose to go publicly and say things publicly
It just
at
seems to
it,
me like
you
it's
know?
it's a regular normal person fight. It's just on a grander scale.
Yeah.
On a bigger screen. And
Mhm.
that, of course, intensifies all the feelings, all the emotions, all the
Mhm.
I get it. I understand it.
Mhm.
Obviously, I only know what Brian says publicly. I can, I don't
Mhm.
know what the dude's going through. Whatever, but if you thought Hiller wasn't going to make a video, didn't he already make a video about this once?
Mhm.
If you thought he wasn't gonna do it again, which is why I thought, well, maybe he's kind of using Hiller any attention is good attention kind of thing.
Well, you had said that,
Yeah, that's
that
what I
it
was
seemed
kind of
very unprovoked, and it seemed like, "I want attention, so give me attention," and if
yeah,
you're asking Hiller personally for attention, most of the time, it's gonna come along, in the way that he put that video out.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, I felt like the door was open and he chose to say his piece. And so Hiller decided to say his piece, which then just, opened the door for Sevon to say his piece. And then someone else will probably say something else. And like, if you open the door to personal stuff
yeah.
publicly, you can't be surprised that other people are going to bring up personal stuff publicly.
Yeah. Chris Beasterfield. Yeah, I would love to see. Uh, oh, I was gonna say it, so now I'm just gonna say it. I would love to see beef being squashed. Pause. But yeah, sure. I would love to see it. I hate seeing people
Oh,
fighting.
geez. It definitely feels like Sevon has been on this
My
show.
bad. I
Jeez.
listen. And also I already asked Judy Reed and she's not ready yet, but I'm gonna keep bugging her. Um, uh, is there an Illuminati? What's happening now? I don't know. Someone's clicking buttons. So I think if you're in the Illuminati, I'd be concerned that Hiller was going to do the next opportunity he can find. I mean, he said he only does videos on people that he feels like deserves it. That's kind of a judge, jury, executioner sort of thing. But also, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Whatever. It takes time. Boys, they'll fight somewhere in the street, somewhere in a yard or parking lot or something, and then they'll be fine. Isn't that what guys do? I don't. Squashing beef just sounds wrong somehow. Yeah, that's why I said pause. Pause. Um, but yeah, so it was a good week. Super fun. Again, I think I want to start talking more about like CrossFit media stuff just because I just want to see like how they do it, how they,
It's also
how they
been,
film, how they edit, how
yeah.
they talk to each other, how the ecosystems kind of merge together, stuff like that. But
I also just think, because everybody knows, I mean, I have to give him credit. He did say my name correctly, but I'm pretty sure that it's because it was written at the bottom of my picture.
oh yeah, he remembers your name. I know. What did he call you last time? Terry.
Terry,
Yeah, he called you Terry
Yep.
last time. So funny.
I wasn't a big fan of Sevon's for a long time because I just felt like he was aggressive and crass and very blunt, and a lot of things just felt very like, oh shit, why would somebody say that or whatever? But I also was in a very different receiving space at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I have listened to him differently. I can see things differently. I can hear things differently. And most of the message that's in there that I got yesterday from the podcast that you did with him the other day was the deeper message. There's a deeper message in there. Again, delivery is not always great.
For you.
We're all
great for me.
Yeah. Some people now I think it's great.
Yeah.
But before, but some people don't receive, are not in a receiving space to be able to hear a message so clear, so blunt, so to the point, But for some people, it's like, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. I heard it was just something that he needed to say. But my original point was it's been very cool for me to see them differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hiller too. And it's been very, very cool to see the different side.
Hold up. This is cool. I like this angle too. I've thought of that before. He's a comedian. Yeah, but he's not though, which makes it difficult. And that's why I think people don't take him that way. Right. Because comedians can get away with saying everything. You got Dave Chappelle. There are people that hate him, people that love him, but he can say it and not get canceled because he's Dave Chappelle and he's a comedian, whatever. Cat Williams, name any of them. Eddie Murphy. If you go back and watch any of the Eddie Murphy movies right now, all of them would be canceled today.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't cancel him because the shit's funny.
Right.
And he's a comedian. And so you have to allow comedians to work.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes because Sevon isn't put under that banner, people don't consider him that because he's not stand-up. I mean, he's funny. If you take the joke as if he was a stand-up comedian,
mm-hmm.
I don't think people would have a problem with him as much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I've always thought about it from that angle. That's a good point.
Yep.
I think it's just because he's not. So like Andrew Schultz has his own podcast and he's a stand-up comedian. Like he just sold out MSG and a whole bunch of other some big ass Canadian arena, something like that. And he can talk a whole bunch of shit on his podcast and the other podcast with Charlamagne the God, and they can get away with it because he's a stand-up comedian.
Yes.
And stand-up comedians don't get censored.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't censor them.
Mm-hmm.
You really can't.
Right.
But because Sevan doesn't fall under that category, he tends to get censored by everything.
Right.
But it really is, if you listen to him, it really kind of is, he's getting his own point across in a stand-up kind of way.
Yeah.
So,
but it's also one of those things. I mean, Jake said it in a very elaborate kind of way.
Yeah, Sevan is delivering pizzas by throwing them off the top of a building. If people don't want to catch them, they can either walk. Yeah, right. No, that's fair. People either you like comedians or you don't like comedians. Either
Right.
you want, you know what I mean? You can choose to go see whatever comedian you want to go see.
Yeah.
But just if you're pissed at comedians, normally they don't just push to cancel you.
But that was going to be my point. Like, you always tell the story that when you first started watching Sevan's podcast, he used to piss you the fuck off. He would piss you
I loved
off.
everything. And then when he started talking about gay shit,
right.
It wasn't even trans shit. It was literally gay shit. Because
right.
I probably agreed with him on the trans shit. But when he would talk about make a gay joke or some shit, I was all hypersensitive for some fucking reason.
He would piss you off. And so then you made the choice that you were either going to not listen to him because he pisses you off.
Right.
Or you were going to listen to him because you're triggered and pissed off about this, and try to see if you can actually listen to the message that he's trying to send you.
I stopped turning, like I would get pissed and then just turn off the podcast.
Right.
And what I promised myself was, even if I got pissed, I would listen to the whole podcast and see where he was going.
Again, it's not going to change the fact that he's going to say things that are going to piss you off. That's just the character of who he is. Like, that's fine. But like, can you get past that and actually listen to the message? It's always one of those things like, okay, someone's saying something and it's pissing me off. Why is it pissing me off? Because I don't agree with it, because I don't agree with the delivery that they're saying, or there's some truth in it and I need to listen into what that truth is because it's something I need to look in within me. You know what I mean? So like, if you want to hang out with him and listen to him, most likely he's going to piss you off, but there's also a lot of credibility to a lot of the things that he says.
Is there how many people in your life, everything they say you agree with? How many people are like your best friends on the planet that half of my gay friends that I still have do not agree with how I see the world right now?
Mm-hmm.
They probably, you know what I mean, don't watch, or they're pissed at me, or they'll DM me and be like, bitch, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I'm talking about what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
But we're friends.
Yep.
So it is just how, you know what I mean? And obviously you pick your friends how you pick your friends.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't, just because I don't like some things doesn't mean that that person's not a good person. We just don't see eye to eye on that. I've got a lot of liberal friends too.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily love everything I'm spouting off these days, but
not these days.
Hey man,
not these days.
I changed. I'm not 20 years old. I own shit now and I can't be a liberal. I'm sorry. I got shit to protect at this point. So, but yeah.
But it's been this week has been really, really cool. And you know, I know that I have said this privately to you and whatever, but I'm very proud of you. You have worked your ass off to build this podcast, to meet these people, to build relationships.
And all of you I've met, I like this one too. Extra sloppy. Oh, Sevan and Hiller both piss me off fairly often. Still love. Yeah. Then that's fair. And you can do that.
Yep.
And that's, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Rosie View, yeah, there's a wild side to CrossFit.
There is.
Yeah, I'm still kind of digging into that because I have some of my own like conspiracy theories.
Yep.
And then Seema said something I wanted to get back to. I missed a lot of stuff. See what happens?
That's okay. I'll compliment you when you're done.
I don't like compliments.
I know. That's why you're going into the chat. You never go into the chat.
I know. I'm going into the chat. Greg Glassman pisses me. Hold on.
Jake never pisses anyone off.
So I know. Jake is awesome. He doesn't. I like Jake.
I'm pretty sure he pisses off Sevan a lot.
He do you jab at him a lot? Sometimes I feel I
I
don't know.
think so. I think he wrote up in a comment before that he pisses him off a lot.
Broad sweeping generalizations, poor explanation of science, stupid foreign policy talk that changes nothing. Oh, sorry. I must have missed that while I was going through it. But yeah, I
Yes,
get
Crowbar, you are the problem.
it. Crowbar is the problem.
Crowbar is the problem.
But yeah, I think sometimes it's all in good fun, and then until it's not all in good fun, and people have thick skins, and then they don't. So, yeah, it was a fun week. I enjoyed it, and then on Wednesday I'll get back to roasting political shit because I also like that too. So, and I have to roast both sides this week, unfortunately. Like our side is acting a donkey right now as much as the other side, so I'm gonna have to roast both. That's
Listen,
fine.
everybody's bonkers. Listen.
Jeffrey number one, better to be pissed off than pissed on. Just saying. You right. You
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
Oh, Chris Beesterfield. I know. I need the gargle noise. I don't have the gargle noise. I wish I'll try to find that for the next time. But yeah. So thanks guys for hanging out. I really appreciate all your support last week. It was super cool. And like I said, again, I love you. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's so much fun hanging out with you guys in Sevon. Well, I don't hang out in Sevon's chat because I never get to catch it live. I always have to watch it after the fact. But
Mhm.
you guys are awesome.
Yep.
Appreciate you. Judy, I'm gonna bug you until you come on this show.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah.
Jake Chapman, probably you too.
Yeah.
'cause
Anytime you guys want to, let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Damn, Jake. Okay. All right. Yeah. Cool.
Well,
Thanks,
hold
guys.
on. You
Oh,
like to
what?
give everybody their flowers. Just take a minute. Take a minute. You deserve yours. You have done the work to get here and to imagine what Glint and Things was the first time that you decided that we were going to do a podcast together, and how far that you have come. This week has given it everything.
Yeah, it was cool.
This week has given everything, and
Super worth it.
You trusted the process, and you jumped over all the hurdles, and we, did it together. And to be able to watch this week for you, as your wife, as your partner, as your sidekick
Oh,
on
thanks,
this,
JB.
like
Cool.
you've done the thing, and you deserve it, and can't wait to see what's next. So,
Thanks, guys. Thanks. I really appreciate all of you. I really do.
can you have Jake, Chris, and I on together?
Oh, Jan is my
fun.
agent. Yeah, yeah. Yo, yeah.
Jan, when?
Jan, if you get all the boys, like,
no, this one.
Someone is getting some later tonight. Yeah, dude, come on. The hell. I was like sick all last week. I finally feel better. Of course I'm getting some tonight. What do you think I do this podcast for? But yeah, if Jan, you could be my agent. I paid you $5,000 for your episode.
That's
so
right. That's right.
Get everybody together.
That's
and
the
let's
word
go.
on the street, at least. So.
I know. So yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
Someone's getting mushed. On that note, thank you guys for always supporting. It's been great, and we'll see you next time.
Clinton, thanks.
Bye, guys.
Out.